Shove it, man!
Alright, Shove It Squad, it's time for some Hawk talk. Because I'm the idiot and it's a brand new year. I'm desperate to find some good wrestling in the year 2023. And there's reason to be optimistic. I'm the Hawk, a long-time wrestling fan who struggles to enjoy wrestling in the modern day. But that needs to change. People have moaned in the comments on these videos in the past that I don't do enough research. My argument was, would a new viewer do research before watching a TV show? No. But then I hit myself with a brick and I thought about it. When I watch a movie, I read the description. So fair enough, I'll give you that. I need to do minimal research to make this experience as a new viewer as authentic as possible. So now, I know the basics of your show. So shut up or I'll smack you one. Lately I've been hearing a lot of praise and positives about the WWE since Vince McMahon's left. People are saying that wrestling's on the up. I need to find out if that's true or not. Enough talking. Let's find out. The intro is playing, which is interrupted by the Bloodline. They say they're taking over the show and they start tipping over the commentary desk. Wow! An exciting start to the show. Who would have thought it? Before they can completely destroy the set, Kevin Owens interrupts them. Sami Zayn tells him not to get involved and it's a hostile takeover from the Bloodline tonight. Owens has nothing interesting to say. He wants to fight Owens' fight. Some geeks stop him. He asks the security to remove them. Solo Don't Look at His Ass Sikoa beats them up. It's a stalemate. The rest of the locker room empty to come to Owens' rescue. As a punishment for what the Bloodline did, they will each be put in a match tonight. Great start. Let's see if they can maintain that. The roster are all begging for matches with the Bloodline, but poor Shelton Benjamin. He's just shoved in the back and he doesn't get a match. He looks really depressed at this point. The first match is a women's title match. It's petrified rat Alexa Bliss, who smashed a glass vase over the champion's head 2 weeks ago. There you go guys, I did my research. The champion is Bianca Belair, who gets an impressive crowd reaction actually. They make a big deal out of this being a title match. Every time I've seen Belair, I've been impressed with her athleticism and the way she plays with the crowd. She doesn't let me down in this match. And it's a longer match than I was expecting too, because Bliss keeps her grounded. They even show some aggression. There is a small botch in this one where Bliss doesn't stay down, which confuses Belair. Bliss hits a flip senton off the apron on her. They keep counting each other for ages. You know what, it's when you watch a match like this, you really do appreciate how far that women's wrestling has come. Man, I miss Lacey Von Bosch. A strange man in a mask is distracting Alexa Bliss. She stares at him forever. She then starts hearing voices in her head or something, and she beats up the referee like he owes her money. Bliss continues the attack on Belair and DDTs her on the steps. Belair is busted open. I'm assuming this wasn't deliberate, because last I checked they weren't allowed to do this sort of thing. Then Alexa does a second DDT. Good stuff, Raw. 2 beaks up from this Hawk. Austin Theory is the United States Champion. Wow, that is an ugly belt. He threatens Seth Rollins. Elias is here to have a street fight. He wants to sing a song, but he's interrupted by his opponent. Solo, Don't Look at His Ass Sikoa. There are musical instruments all around the ring for them to use. Solo manages to dodge a guitar shot, but he can't dodge the drum kit. Beautiful smack with the cymbals to the face. Several microphone shots from Sikoa in retaliation, and he also sends Elias into the drums, which makes a great noise. Oh! It's just fun watching Sikoa throw people around. Elias uses an electric keyboard as a weapon, which is honestly the first time I've seen that in wrestling. Then there's a celebrity run-in from a man called Hardy. Not the Hardy anyone wants to see. He hits Sikoa with a guitar, which he no-sells. Samoan's spike to the throat, and it ends with Sikoa hitting a rock bottom for a piano, which collapses. That's it. Just a great fun match. No complaints from me. You know what? I can't believe that I've just watched 50 minutes of a modern day wrestling show and I've enjoyed every minute of it. 6-man tag now. The Usos and Sami Zayn take on the Street Profits and Kevin Owens. It's a pretty fun match. I was most impressed with Montez Ford, who had some exciting offense. Solo Sikoa returns and he takes out Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn wins the match with a kick in the corner. The Bloodline continue the attack after the bell. It's a good night for the Bloodline until McIntyre and Sheamus rush the place and clear the ring. We get a small update to tell us that AJ Styles is out with a broken ankle. He never seems to wrestle whenever I do one of these idiot videos. 2 strange looking men come out now. These are the 2 goofiest people to show up on Raw so far, so it's a big improvement overall. Chad Gable will take on Dexter Lumis. He's pretty much still doing his TNA gimmick. Chad Gable doesn't seem intimidated. Then within seconds he dumps in his nappy, and now he's intimidated. Shaw does try to move a bit quicker nowadays, which was one of the main criticisms when he was in TNA. Loomis does this weird leg drop which the commentary team are in complete shock about. Shaw sneaks the win. Not sure what they're going for here with him. As freaky as Samuel Shaw is, he just doesn't seem to connect or get a reaction from the audience. And what was his best match? Does anyone care about this guy other than his character? They need to do something with this guy. There is something there, I just don't know what. Hype package about Cody Rhodes. I guess he's coming back soon. Bayley and her friends cut a promo calling Nashville Trashville. She screeches on for a while before being interrupted by the man. Damn, Becky has not missed a leg day since I last saw her. She says that she thinks one of them is going to turn soon. She challenges Bayley to a fight tonight. Instead it ends up with Becky being in a handicap match against the tag team champions. The man seems like she can take them, but the numbers do catch up with her eventually. Then music hits and Mia Yim joins Becky. She's now called Mi Chim for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, I looked it up. I did my research. Apparently WWE just randomly changed her name because they didn't like the name Mia Yim. And she's half Korean, and it means I'm crazy in Korean. So there you go. Shut up or I'll smack you one. It's pretty dumb because Becky literally agreed to a handicap match before it started. So how is she allowed to just have a partner join in? It's beyond me. She doesn't do well anyway. The Damage Control Girls are too much of a tag team. They try desperately to stop the tag from happening, but it happens eventually. Becky proceeds to beat them both out of ease with the crowd firmly behind her. The match quality is again really good. It almost feels like pay-per-view quality. Becky Lynch eventually loses her focus and attacks Bayley. Damage Control beat Mia Yim with a moonsault. Sorry, I meant Mi Shin. God, I hate my life. Seth Rollins sounds like he's turning into the nature boy of his latest promo. Now it's a recap about Dominic Mysterio getting arrested over Christmas. He is now out of prison. He says he served hard time and he survived. Hasn't he been in there for like a week? He now has a teardrop tattoo because prison has changed him. I assume this is like a joke because no one's going to think this guy is a serious bad man, but is that what they're going for? I don't know. Someone let me know in the comments down below. Just the main event now. Austin Theory defends his US title against Seth freaking Rollins. The crowd loves singing Seth's music or humming or whatever the hell they're doing. Rollins is highly entertaining. This match is probably the most I've appreciated him since doing this series. He does a big diving knee drop off the commentary desk to Austin Theory. It ends when Seth should have hit one with a frog splash and again with a pedigree. But no, Theory wins with the A-Town down and the crowd looked devastated by this. It was good, I guess, but as the show went on, the balance between wrestling and storylines just seemed to get a bit blurred and it was just purely wrestling. But that first 45 minutes was the best 45 minutes I've seen since doing this idiot series. I'm going to give them a 6.5 out of 10. Also, crazy, I've just realised, there was not one single wrestler from the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era on this show. So that shows about how many new stars they're building up. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin doesn't count. He might be hiding in the darkness, but nobody cares about him. God, I'm sorry, Shelton. So it might surprise some of you to know that I do keep up with the TNA wrestling news. I'm calling them TNA, not Impact Wrestling. Shut up or I'll punch you in the gut. They will always be TNA to me, no matter what they do. But there's some pretty big news coming out of there lately. So, Josh Alexander has just surpassed Bobby Roode for the amount of time that he's held that TNA World title. I think he's just surpassed 258 days. And that's a pretty big deal, you know. Now, whether or not Josh Alexander was the right man to be doing this with, that's anyone's guess. He's a solid hand, but perhaps he's a big fish in a small pond. He's great, but is he just great in TNA? Only time will tell when he eventually leaves that place. Anyway, the episode before the one that I'm watching today has just come off a 60-minute match with Speedball Mike Bailey. And apparently it was great, and I watched clips of it. It looked pretty cool to me. But I want to see a bit more than great wrestling, because you can catch great wrestling on any show nowadays. Let's see what TNA have got in store for us. So, the TNA show. It's been all about Josh Alexander feuding with Bully Ray recently, and holy crap, Bully Ray is still a great heel. But I've seen nothing but hate from him online. The internet geeks have to be stopped. He wants Josh Alexander's world title, and he got to a point where he was going to pile drive a Josh's wife or girlfriend. I don't know who the fuck she is, I don't care. But he agrees not to do it if Josh hands him the title. Then, in typical Bully Ray fashion, he brags about putting Josh's girl between his legs. He's still got it, squad, so I'm intrigued to see more of that stuff. But then, the first person to come down the ramp on the TNA show. It's Eddie fucking Slapnut Edwards. God kill me. Then I find out that his opponent is going to be Delirious, because this is ROH. They continue to do 50 moves, yet the most entertaining part of the match is the crowd chanting at Delirious, "Where are your shoes?" They hold hands for ages whilst doing bad looking wrestling. I hate this so much. Then things improve. Delirious keeps doing this running spot where he dodges Eddie at the last second. That is fairly entertaining. The crowd do the most weary and bored sounding "Let's go Eddie" chant. No, you know what? Let's not fucking go Eddie. At this point, Eddie Edwards looks like Jesse Neal ate Jeff Hardy's stoner friend. Get him off my screen now. Edwards is caught in a submission, so he uses his weight advantage to wallow on top of Delirious. The commentary team say this was a great contest. They were wrong. Edwards raises his hand and then kicks him in the gut. The crowd chant Eddie. He tries to demask Delirious when Jonathan Gresham makes the save. His nickname is the Octopus for some reason. Gresham recently signed a deal with TNA, and this is a big deal apparently. Josh Alexander, the world champion, continues down his path of being the new Kurt Angle. They're even calling him the Wrestling Machine. Josh wants to kick Bully Ray's ass for what he did to his wife. Oh no, it's Tommy Dreamer. He looks like an alcoholic badger with typhoid. They are not friends because Tommy Dreamer is friends with Bully Ray. Speaking of the man, he has a match. Bully looks extremely old. He also looks far bigger than his opponent. It lasts literally 20 seconds. Bully looks short of breath. Maybe he's not very good at wrestling anymore. I'm not knocking him, I haven't seen enough of him to answer that one. In 2022, Dreamer and Bully Ray have an in-ring promo talking about ECW. I'm not making this up. Tommy Dreamer has literally not expanded his character in 25 years. He's out of breath and he's on the verge of tears. If I have to watch much more of this show, I'll be joining him. Dreamer calls him a bitch and says he's backing Josh Alexander. The crowd chant EC-Dub. The stairs loudly creak as Dreamer walks down them. Again, I'm not making this up. Yep. I guess Bully and Tommy are feuding. Bully talks about ECW, WWE and TNA. Bully says he was bigger in all those companies. And I ain't talking size. Bully calls him a fat bastard. Really intense promo. He's certainly still got it on the stick. And now Tommy Dreamer is crying. If this wasn't two 60-year-olds feuding, this would be great television. Tommy now wants to fight. Bully is too scared. Why don't people like Bully Ray? This was legitimately the most compelling thing I've seen in TNA in 2 years. If only it wasn't Tommy Dreamer. Mick Cardona and the world's most professional surfer Brian Myers are afraid of a small cow. But I think it's meant to be a joke given their comical screams. The Decay still exist, but instead of Abyss, it's this bull. A little rascal jumps and spray paints Crazy Steve. The crowd chant Fire Russo. I don't think we can pin any of this on him. Everyone is scared of the cow, who's known as Black Taurus. The major players win a fun match, which didn't have a story. There is now a contract signing. I'm not sure why they wouldn't have been doing this in the ring if it's such a big deal. Mickie James and Jordynne Grace. She resembles a mop on steroids. Her voice sounds like Luna Vachon, and her cheeks are now bigger than her other cheeks. I used to like Jordynne Grace. Their signing gets interrupted by an excitable little Tasha Steelz. No one can take all the screaming and bitching, so a triple threat match is made for next week. Tasha Steelz ends her sentences by making bird noises. Someone should probably find out if there's something wrong with her. A man who's been getting a big push lately on the TNA scene is Speedball Mike Bailey. You've probably never heard of him. Don't worry, no one else has either. He has a big stupid grin, a big stupid mullet, and he's almost beat Kurt Angle. Sorry, I meant Josh Alexander, what was I thinking? But if I could be serious for a moment, he has been getting rave reviews from TNA fans because he had an hour-long battle last week. But then he opens his mouth and he is the most Canadian-sounding geek I've ever heard. Oh no, there is a bold faction in TNA. Cody Deaner is now the leader of Violent by Design, despite the other members being Connor the Rat and Alan Angels, who are both far better known wrestlers. Angels recently signed with TNA, and he takes on Sami Callihan, who has new music. It sucks. Luckily what doesn't suck is both of these two guys in the ring. They have a really fun match, and do you know what? It's really nice to see Impact protecting Sami. If this was the old TNA, they'd have had Alan Angels do like a triple foot stomp off him and a 360 cannonball and then smash him with a cricket bat 3 times and he'd be dead. But no, Sami Callihan wins. Instead, the Bold Boys kill him after the match. Cody Deaner seems like he can actually play his part as a faction leader. But then you just say his name. Cody Deaner. It sounds like a joke. Taylor Wilder's finally snapped from all the time she's been shoved at the sunglasses hut and she's become a witch or something. Joe Hendry is a man who's on a roll right now too, and he's a champion. The crowd join in with his music and they seem genuinely happy to see him. He can talk too, even if he's Scottish. A man who has not had a good year is Moose, who looks like a complete goofball on this show. I assume that he's on his way out of TNA. Anyway, he ruins the match and backs Hendry away from the ramp. He leaves his partner Guja alone in a handicap match, but Guja wins in a 2-minute match. Some man-bun men are kissing each other's asses backstage. They're going to form a team because they share a mutual situation of nobody liking them. Maybe the Hawk should join them. They do a weird handshake, it's like this. I don't know what it means. I don't know if it's a weird take on the Billy Gunn scissor thing. Josh Macklin is a very good promo. I believe what he's saying. Shame I couldn't see what he was saying. The main event will be a tag match for the tag titles. The Motor City Machine Guns are the champions, but not the TNA Tag Team Champions, it's the New Japan titles. The TNA Tag Champions are actually Rhino and Heath. The Guns are still extremely good. They don't really need to do flips and crazy stuff anymore because they're such a smooth team. And they are loved. If you're going to check something out from this week, it should probably be this match. I can't believe Chris Sabin kicked out of a gore. Rhino tries another one which Sabin jumps and rolls him into a pin. The Motor City Machine Guns are now 3-time TNA Tag Team Champions. Now before we finish talking about TNA for this video, I need to bring up one thing. No matter how much you like this show, and I can't understand how, but no matter how much you like it, no matter how much you say it's the best show going right now, you're completely entitled to your opinion, just like I am. But TNA fans, the one thing you cannot deny is the main event scene sucks Sonny Siaki's ass. They need to do something about it, and Nick Aldis is free. I know there's a lot of hatred for Nick Aldis amongst the TNA fans, but look at every man we just saw in this video. He is better than every single wrestler we've just seen. And he's proven that he can actually take the ball and run with it under the right situations. Look at the NWA £10 of gold thing. That was really good. So TNA fans, stop being such geeks and let the main eventers come into the show. It might cast more eyes to the product. It's not all about you, you know. If it was up to the internet fans, they'd probably be happy to see Tommy Dreamer facing some flippy floppy midget in a basement in 2030. Not me. By the way, show was boring and lifeless. People who say this are great are lying. They're deluded. The show's like a 3 out of 10 or something. Our final show this week will be Major League Wrestling MLW. I always like to include them in this video series because they tend to impress me with their consistency. And it's a nice, easily digestible show which you can just sit down and watch without having to do research for. Yeah, that's going to set some of you off. I don't care. We seem to be in Mexico, and that's where the Hawks vacation in this year. The production quality has really gone downhill since I last watched. Maybe a problem with being in another country. Mads Kruger is one of the main characters on this show, and he'll be in a tables match. It cuts backstage to Monte Warner, who cuts an interesting promo. In fact, I had to rewind it a few times. The interview girl asks if this guitar is his new gimmick, but he says he doesn't need a new gimmick, he's already over. The guitar is a gift from Fat Guy Comrade Thompson. A crazy promo, but entertaining. That man will be in the table match. The man who retired MJF from MLW, Monte Warner. For some reason, this is the same match that took place on Raw with lots of musical instruments. This feels like a hardcore match out of TNA in 2003. Like a complete moron, Kruger is smashed in the head with unprotected chair shots time and time again. He no-sells them and slams Warner through 2 chairs. Seconds later, Kruger crashes through a door in the corner. More wood is smashed into his head. He no-sells it again and spears Warner through a door in the opposite corner. Surprisingly, Monte Warner wins with an eye poke and he throws off the apron through the table. It was complete trash, but at the same time I loved it. It's kind of refreshing to see a violent match in 2023. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to your personal preference whether you like this one or not. Warner cuts a victory promo saying he's going to get drunk in the crowd now. He tries to start a chocolate milk chant. The crowd don't want to do it. Some wacky video package about a fat man dressed as Santa trying to raise money for Microman. The commentators call him a carny. They're right. Now Juicy Finawar cuts a promo about drinking and smoking weed. Those must be the worst tattoos I've ever seen. He says he's hungry and he leaves. Human urinal Ty Valkyrie hypes up a title defense for tonight. Alex Kane has the weirdest shaped head I've ever seen. He's doing some wacky gimmick tonight where his opponent has to last 5 minutes in the ring with him. And here he is, with his little fight club. Half of this so-called Fight Club look like crackheads. What, did they win a prize or something to be here? The ring announcer looks genuinely tougher than every single man in the ring. His opponent will be someone called D3, presumably a fan of EC3. He's another man who missed a few meals. Maybe Juicy Finua ate them all. He has a gladiator gimmick, a Roma FC scarf, and if he can last for 5 minutes, he will win $2,250. Why such an exact number? That's just strange. Where did they come up with that from? The jobber is immediately suplexed into the corner. Now it's a dragon suplex. And now it's a T-bone suplex. Okay, this is actually quite fun. The jobber is in the air more often than the Hawk. Kane wins with ease and beats the jobber like he should do. No complaints. Why does he try and force a tennis ball down his throat? Apparently it's a peach. Sure doesn't look like one. Kane boasts about how easy it was. Davey Richards rushes out. They've been feuding because the Fight Club stole his little cup. Myron Reed dives on the crowd of people, but the camera completely misses the spot. They pose with the cup and Davey. The judge, someone, boasts about how much money he has whilst wearing the ugliest pair of sunglasses I think I've ever seen. He keeps stuttering. I'm not sure if this is his gimmick. He wants a world title shot Alexander Hammerstone. Now the wrestlers are drinking with Microman and being wacky. I honestly have no idea what the point was. Hammerstone talks about all the stingers he's had in his career. And I ain't talking Steve Borden. It's actually the best promo I've heard on any show this week. He will have a last man standing match against the judge someone on the next episode of Fusion. Here's Lady Flammer, who's getting a title shot at the human urinal Taya Valkyrie. Why do they make the fans stand for their national anthems? Seems like a waste of time in such a short show. I guess I lost my patriotism. Does anyone else feel like that? I genuinely don't know if this is Mexico or not. The Mexican fans are all singing on one side of the building. Is there crowd segregation or something? After 10 minutes, the main event finally starts, and the commentary team revealed this is actually Atlanta, Georgia. Why does everything look so Mexican-inspired then? Nothing really happens until Flammer does a Canadian Destroyer. It's 2023, so of course it's not the free. Moments later, Taya wins with the Road to Valhalla. A nothing match which didn't deserve the build it got. And I'm not being a dick, but why is she the main event anyway? This was not the best MLW show I've seen in a while. Due to the way they tape their shows, it's difficult for them to get all their main wrestlers on one show. So you kind of get stuck in this situation where there's some people on one show, some people on the other show, and it alternates. And it sucks. The show was a 4 out of 10. Improve. So that's it then, really. What I've learned is, there is still hope for wrestling after in 2023. Because WWE have given me some hope. And I feel weird to even be praising them. This isn't a pro WWE channel. I watched the show for the first time in months. And I enjoyed most of it. What do you want me to do? I'm just saying what I saw. TNA is absolutely hopeless. They're on the verge of losing Moose, Jordan Grace, and Mickey James. And if they lose them, it's game over. There'll be 0 star power left on that show. They need to do something and quickly. MLW was pretty much the same as normal, just slightly worse. It's easily digestible. You don't need to do a load of research, and it's just a short, quick, fairly fun show. So whilst wrestling doesn't really seem to have changed that much, I'm in a positive spirit now. I've got high hopes for 2023. I'm the idiot, and you've been watching me. What do you mean I've missed a show? What do you mean I haven't missed a show?